We watched this get right in front of our own face. And the knew it was finna happen. He told us, and we didn't know. Named his last tour, This Is It.
This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it, it really means this is it.
Conference. There was a story about you wanting to have a little white boy play you in a Pepsi commercial.
That is so stupid.
Did Michael Jackson really hate Oprah and Diddy? Why would the king of pop feel so strongly about some of the biggest names in entertainment?
He explained it's because of my catalog, which is my publishing, and they're after it, and they want it, and they want their hands on it, and they want to take it away from me.
Katt Williams just dropped a bombshell that connects both of these powerful icons to Michael's biggest fears and darkest days.
We watched this get right in front of our own face.
But why did Michael believe they were dangerous? And did he know something sinister that ultimately sealed his fate?
This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it, it really means this is it.
The real story is more disturbing than anyone imagined, and the connections to Oprah and Diddy might be closer than you think. Michael Jackson's life was legendary, yet cloaked in secrecy, and some of his most intense distrust was aimed right at the industry elites. According to Katt Williams, Michael wasn't just uncomfortable with them. He actually feared what they represented in the industry.
And the knew it was finna happen. He told us, and we didn't know. Named his last tour, This Is It.
So what led to his hatred? Was it Oprah's controversial questions that seemed to dig deep into his pain?
There was a story about you wanting to have a little white boy play you in a Pepsi commercial.
That is so stupid.
Or was it Diddy's rumored connections to Sony and particularly Clive Davis?
At Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony. Several billion. They never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them. So I'm leaving Sony a free agent.
And just how deep do these connections run? From a dark interview that rocked him to Katt Williams' revelations about a plot to silence the king of pop forever. Today, we dive into Michael's warnings, the hidden motives, and the disturbing truth that he may have known too much. Katt Williams just dropped a bombshell that's shaking the entertainment world. He hinted that Michael Jackson didn't just die of a medical overdose, as many believe, but was deliberately silenced by powerful people in the industry. People like Oprah Winfrey and Diddy. And get this, Michael may have been warning us about his impending death all along, even through his last tour, This Is It.
Have never said this is it in a celebratory fashion.
But why would Oprah and Diddy, two of the most influential figures in Hollywood, be connected to something so dark? For years, Oprah and Michael had a complex relationship. Their 1993 interview was meant to clear up rumors about Michael's life, but some fans believe Oprah crossed the line, prying too deep into his personal issues.
Why do you always grab your crotch?
Why do I grab my crotch?
Yeah, why? We think you got a thing with your crotch going on
I think
here.
it happens subliminally.
Fast forward to the release of Leaving Neverland, the controversial documentary in which Oprah supported Jackson's accusers after his death. This angered the Jackson family and many of Michael's fans, who felt Oprah betrayed the king of pop to boost her own ratings. Janet Jackson herself even publicly demanded an apology from Oprah for trying to destroy her brother's legacy.
Do you think Oprah betrayed Michael?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And I feel like she betrayed not just him, but my family.
On the other side, there's Sean Diddy Combs, who's now being dragged into the conversation by none other than Katt Williams. 50 Cent has also hinted at a possible link between Diddy and Michael's death, referencing shady dealings behind the scenes. What's even more chilling, Michael's former head of security, Fahim Muhammad, went on to work for Diddy, and rumors suggest that he knew more than anyone about what really happened in those final hours at the Jackson mansion.
His head of security while he's running this blackmail ring is this guy named Fahim Muhammad, who before working for Diddy was the head of security for Michael Jackson.
Could it be that Michael Jackson was trapped by the very industry that helped build his career? Was his death orchestrated to prevent him from revealing dangerous truths about Hollywood elites? Katt Williams has never been shy about calling out the dark underbelly of the entertainment industry. In his latest claims, he suggests that Michael Jackson's This Is It tour wasn't just a comeback, it was a warning. According to Williams, the tour's name, This Is It, was a cryptic message from Michael, hinting that he knew his life was in danger. Michael had been vocal about the threats he felt from the industry for years. In fact, just weeks before his death, he wrote 13 letters to a close friend, Michael Jacob Schagen, expressing his fears and stating that people were out to get him. Jackson had also famously called out figures like Tommy Mottola, labeling him a devil and accusing him of manipulating artists.
And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
But Williams takes this even further, suggesting that Michael's warnings were specifically aimed at people like Oprah and Diddy, who Williams claims were more involved in the industry's sinister activities than we knew. Michael and Oprah's relationship has always been a source of fascination. In 1993, Oprah interviewed Michael at his Neverland Ranch in what became one of the most watched interviews in television history. This interview was meant to clear up long-standing rumors about Michael, such as him wanting to become white, rumors about plastic surgery, and bizarre claims like him buying the remains of the Elephant Man or having a telepathic monkey. However, instead of helping his image, Oprah's approach raised eyebrows. She asked intrusive questions.
I'm going to ask you this, and it's embarrassing for me to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Are you a virgin?
How could you ask me that question?
I just want to know. I want to know.
I'm a gentleman.
Oprah's questions often felt accusatory, and she even pressed him on his love life and friendships with children, hinting that there might be something inappropriate. Her line of questioning made fans and even his family believe she had an agenda to tarnish his reputation, but the real betrayal came after Michael's death. Oprah supported the documentary Leaving Neverland, which featured Wade Robson and James Safechuck accusing Michael of misconduct when they were children. Oprah not only backed the documentary, but also interviewed the accusers, further angering Michael's supporters and family, who felt this was a blatant betrayal, especially since Michael had never been found guilty of such charges in court.
While never forgetting any of the details that happened between us, but having no understanding that it was abuse, having no...
The Jackson family and many of Michael's fans felt Oprah betrayed the King of Pop to boost her own ratings. Michael's older brother, Jermaine Jackson, publicly called out Oprah for her involvement with Leaving Neverland, pointing out that the allegations were not based on facts and that Michael had been proven innocent during his 2005 trial. Other family members, like Taj Jackson, who grew up with Wade Robson, also expressed outrage at Oprah's actions, accusing her of using the situation to boost her ratings. Brandy Jackson, another family member, was particularly upset because Oprah had once been welcomed into their home for interviews with Michael's children, only to later turn on the family by supporting the documentary. Perhaps most notably, Janet Jackson, who was very close to Michael, reportedly still holds a grudge against Oprah. Janet, along with other family members, believes Oprah was instrumental in launching the hate campaign against Michael and tarnishing his legacy. Janet has made it clear that she feels Michael would never have committed the acts he was accused of, and the pain of Oprah's betrayal runs deep within the Jackson family. The Jackson family, particularly Janet Jackson, felt this was a blatant attempt to tarnish Michael's legacy. Janet has since demanded that Oprah apologize for her role in spreading these accusations. But Oprah remained silent.
Do you think Oprah betrayed Michael?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And I feel like she betrayed not just him, but my family.
Fans have also been vocal about their disappointment in Oprah, accusing her of exploiting Michael while protecting other powerful figures like Harvey Weinstein, who was later convicted of serious crimes. They argue that Oprah should have kept the same energy in holding everyone accountable instead of selectively targeting Michael. You see, Oprah's ties to Harvey Weinstein have come under intense scrutiny. Their friendship spanned over 2 decades, and while some argue that Oprah couldn't have known about Weinstein's predatory behavior, others find this hard to believe. Weinstein's reputation in Hollywood was no secret, even in the 90s. When Weinstein was finally exposed and faced multiple allegations of SA, rumors circulated that Oprah allegedly called him to offer her support. Although her team denies this, many believe it due to their close friendship. Oprah had been a prominent figure in Weinstein's life, attending numerous events together and often being photographed with him. This connection runs deeper than just public appearances. Oprah and Weinstein collaborated on several projects, including The Butler, a film that Weinstein produced. Oprah's involvement in the film was seen as a significant endorsement, lending credibility to Weinstein's work. This partnership extended beyond the screen, with both appearing together at various industry events, solidifying their public association. They had a very warm friendship, and the photos show. Some people actually believe that Oprah convinced some actresses to hook up with Harvey Weinstein. In fact, Rose McGowan tweeted out, "I'm glad more people are seeing the ugly truth of Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't. Oprah has attempted to speak out on Harvey Weinstein, but she never really gets to the point, and you can tell that she's trying to protect him.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining, and so I think this is a watershed moment.
Of course, Oprah is trying to switch the narrative and make this about everyone else but Harvey. But we need to talk about the bizarre contrast in Oprah's behavior when it comes to dealing with people like Harvey versus dealing with someone like Michael Jackson. In early 2019, there was a documentary created about Harvey Weinstein titled Untouchable. It premiered at Sundance, but it didn't get a lot of media attention. And of course, Oprah didn't bring any attention to that documentary. But when it comes to the documentary about Michael Jackson, Leaving Neverland, Oprah decided to go and promote that everywhere. Oprah decided to hold a special show after the airing of Leaving Neverland. This decision raised questions about her motivations and the selectivity of her actions. She invited some of Michael Jackson's alleged victims to share their stories on her show, but noticeably omitted any plans to invite Harvey Weinstein's victims to discuss their experiences. This discrepancy raised eyebrows and invited speculation about Oprah's seemingly protective stance towards her friend, Harvey Weinstein, while choosing to shine a spotlight on figures like Michael Jackson. If Oprah's betrayal was personal, Diddy's alleged involvement is far more insidious. Katt Williams and 50 Cent have both hinted that Diddy's role in Michael Jackson's death goes beyond simple rivalry. According to 50 Cent, Diddy had deep connections with key players who were around Michael in his final days. One of the most shocking connections is Fahim Muhammad, Michael's former head of security, who later went on to work for Diddy. Muhammad was present the day Michael died and had significant power in Diddy's organization. Some conspiracy theories even suggest that Muhammad played a key role in covering up what really happened to Michael. Apparently, Fahim has also been mentioned in Diddy's lawsuits. According to Rodney Lil Rod Jones' lawsuit documents against P. Diddy, Fahim Muhammad, referred to as Mr. Muhammad, was the head of his security team. Mr. Muhammad had the power to make problems and people disappear. He also had connections within law enforcement. P. Diddy allegedly instructs his staff to always contact Mr. Muhammad if they are ever pulled over by the police in Miami or California. For context, the lawsuit alleges that Diddy and his son shot someone. After that shooting, the documents say explicitly that Mr. Muhammad spoke with the LAPD after G was shot at the recording studio. The LAPD was in the recording studio and witnessed the blood in the restroom, and they went with the bogus claim that the shooting of G occurred outside of the studio. This was all thanks to Mr. Muhammad's connections within law enforcement. So basically, they are supposed to call this guy and he will make it disappear. Now, Ian Carroll, an independent journalist investigating everything that is going on, explains the connection that Fahim has with Michael Jackson.
His head of security while he's running this blackmail ring is this guy named Fahim Muhammad, who before working for Diddy was the head of security for Michael Jackson.
It may seem coincidental at first glance. Fahim Muhammad, with his background in security, holds a significant position in the field. His involvement in providing security for Michael Jackson, coupled with the singer's passing under his supervision, raises questions. Particularly, one wonders about Muhammad's qualifications, given the magnitude of his responsibility at just 21 years old. Who exactly is Fahim Muhammad, and what credentials does he bring to the table? Looking into Ian Carroll's investigation sheds some light. In 2008, Fahim graduated from Sacramento State University with a degree in business administration, specializing in real estate and marketing. The timeline, however, raises eyebrows. Michael Jackson's demise in 2009 coincides with Fahim's recent college graduation, prompting scrutiny into his suitability for such a crucial role in Jackson's security detail. Anyway, as Michael prepared for his This Is It tour, there were growing concerns about his health. He struggled with chronic pain, relied on medications like Propofol for sleep, and was under the care of Dr. Conrad Murray, who would later be convicted of involuntary manslaughter for his role in Michael's death. But according to Paris Jackson, Michael's daughter, her father always knew he was in danger. Paris has publicly stated that she believes her father was murdered and that the people responsible have yet to be brought to justice. According to Katt, Michael Jackson knew it was going to happen and gave his fans hints of plans by some evil individuals to end him, but they didn't catch his drift. Katt claimed that one of the hints was when he named his last tour, This Is It. He alleged that the pop icon knew he was at the end of his life and that he wouldn't survive to organize another tour, which is why he gave it that name. True to MJ's words, the This Is It tour happened to be his last, as he passed away in the same year that he made that announcement.
And the nigga knew it was finna happen. He told us, and we didn't know. He named his last tour, This Is It. This is it.
The comedian observed that MJ didn't make the announcement in a celebratory manner. Instead, he sounded like he was tired of fighting the evil in the industry and he had given up. So, Katt Williams appears to think that MJ's passing was pre-planned by the industry greats who disliked the power he wielded. For context, in March of 2009, in a high-profile press conference, Jackson thrilled fans by announcing his This Is It concert residency at London's O2 Arena.
This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it, it really means this is it.
Although the career comeback wasn't solely due to the superstar's desire to perform again with mounting debt, This Is It was designed to show the public, who had been bombarded with sensationalized tabloid wacko jacko headlines for decades now, that Jackson still had what it takes as an entertainer, and its proceeds would help the pop superstar get on top of his spiraling finances. Michael Jackson had written new songs and was rehearsing multiple hours a day in preparation for the concert series. But as the production team prepped for the shows, Jackson's already erratic behavior worsened as opening night approached. Emotionally frail and physically thin, Jackson was described by his makeup artist, Karen Faye, as very upbeat. But he was on the thin side, Faye said of an earlier April 2009 meeting with Jackson. Come June, everything had changed. He was not the man I knew, Faye recounted. He was acting like a person I didn't recognize. During a mid-June rehearsal, Jackson appeared very stoic but frightened. According to Faye, he kept repeating, "Why can't I choose?" It was one of the things he repeated over and over again, Faye said, adding that she had never seen him so emaciated. What exactly happened to the pop superstar between the months of April and June to cause such a notable change in his appearance and overall well-being? In May 2009, AEG Live hired Dr. Conrad Murray via Jackson to be the singer's exclusive personal physician for the tour, though AEG would later claim there was never a contract with Murray. What exactly was Murray's job? To ensure, to the best of his ability, that the performer was in tour-ready shape. By the time Jackson began rehearsing for the 50 concert dates, he was already being treated for chronic pain for decades. Some injuries included head burns that the singer suffered while filming a Pepsi commercial in 1984, and later a back injury he sustained when a bridge suspended above a stage that he was standing on collapsed during a concert in Munich, Germany in 1999. This, compounded by Jackson's trouble sleeping, especially following tour performances and other high-stress circumstances, as well as multiple diagnosed anxiety disorders, meant the global icon had long been taking a cocktail of prescription drugs he was fully dependent on. Jackson's continued use of such medications made headlines in 2007 when a Beverly Hills pharmacy filed a complaint against the singer for not paying a prescription drug bill dating back to 2005. A former staffer at Jackson's home reporting, according to court documents, that the singer would take 30 to 40 Xanax pills a night. As the concert's rehearsals progressed and the weeks wound down toward the opening night of This Is It, Michael Jackson complained that he was feeling fatigued and that he couldn't sleep between rehearsals. Dr. Conrad Murray confesses that he had given the singer infusions of propofol in order to help the performer sleep. After a poor rehearsal on June 13, 2009, Jackson missed the following day's rehearsal on the advice of Murray. According to Kenny Ortega's testimony, the show director for This Is It, AEG was firm in putting Murray in charge of getting Jackson to rehearsals. However, Jackson was a no-show for another week. Ortega stated that when Jackson returned to rehearsals on June 19th, he appeared lost, cold, afraid, and the show director believed the best thing to do would be to stop the production, but was torn because he did not want to break Michael's heart. In a series of emails to AEG Live executives, Ortega wrote Jackson was showing signs of paranoia, anxiety, and obsessive disorder-like behavior, and recommended a psychiatrist be brought in to evaluate the star. At a meeting at Michael Jackson's home on June 20th, Ortega recounted that Murray believed Jackson was physically and emotionally capable of handling all his responsibility as a performer, and that Murray should be the only one to make such decisions. After almost a decade's break in Jackson's music and performing, as well as an intense period that sought to take down his legendary career during his trial for alleged SA, the biggest superstar in the world needed to triumph in a comeback like no other. The stakes were as high as ever, and this comeback was simply too big to fail. The show must go on. Michael returned to rehearsals on June 23rd, apparently a very different man. I was overjoyed at his energy, his state of mind, his enthusiasm, Ortega stated. Dr. Murray later admitted he had stopped using propofol to induce sleep for Jackson for the 2 previous nights. A sleep expert confirmed that a person can recover quickly from heavy use of the drug. On June 24th, Jackson left his home around 7 p.m. and traveled to the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles for what would be his final rehearsal. Many in attendance recalled the singer as continuing to be in good shape as he ran through the show. The rehearsal ended around midnight, and Jackson hugged his dancers and thanked the crew. Then the music icon returned home, where he greeted a small group of fans who had gathered outside his rented mansion. The sold-out shows were scheduled for just a few weeks, and for the first time, Michael felt positive and on his way to giving audiences the type of performance he felt they deserved. But it was only a matter of time before Michael began complaining of fatigue. Dr. Conrad Murray was concerned that Jackson was addicted to propofol and instead administered Valium to the singer in order to help him sleep. Throughout the night, Murray said he gave Jackson further doses of sedatives, but no propofol, even though the singer repeatedly requested it. Murray gave in to Jackson's demand for the drug mid-morning when the doctor added propofol to the singer's intravenous drip. On June 25, 2009, the world lost one of its greatest talents. But the circumstances surrounding Michael Jackson's death continue to raise questions. Was it a tragic accident caused by the negligence of his doctor, or was it something far more sinister? According to medical reports, the pop icon lost his life to overdosing on the prescribed surgical anesthetics and antidepressants. The records established that his personal physician administered the drugs to him the night before his passing, raising several eyebrows within the industry and the fandom.
Dr. Murray abandoned his patient who was trusting him. His patient was vulnerable under those circumstances, having been administered.
What many people found surprising was his personal doctor's failure to inform the paramedics and the physicians at the hospital of the drugs he had administered to MJ the night before. Even worse, the coroner's report indicated that the doctor had injected MJ with lethal levels of the medications. These revelations angered many fans, and they started calling for Conrad Murray's head. Soon, Conrad Murray was arraigned before the court and charged with voluntary manslaughter. The physician pleaded not guilty and told the press, "I have done all that I can do to help the police. I told the truth, and I have faith the truth would prevail." Murray's trial lasted for 6 weeks, with the jury given an extra 2 days to deliberate on the matter. On the 29th of November 2011, Murray was convicted and sentenced to 4 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter.
The court imposes the high term of 4 years imprisonment in this case, pursuant to the Realignment Act of 2011 and the provisions of Penal Code Section 1170, Subdivision H.
The prosecution argued that it was Murray's injections that caused the icon to lose his life and therefore pushed for a stiffer punishment. However, the doctor's defense argued that he should be put on probation instead of prison because he had no criminal record. At any rate, as Katt Williams continues to shine a light on these hidden connections, it's becoming harder to ignore the possibility that Michael Jackson's death was far more than an accidental overdose. With powerful figures like Oprah and Diddy now being implicated in these bombshell claims, one has to wonder, what did Michael Jackson know, and who was truly behind his tragic end? That we may never know. Anyway, that's it for the video.